A controversial extradition bill is driving massive protests in Hong Kong. Protesters clashed with police Monday, one day after hundreds of thousands of people marched peacefully through the city. The proposed legislation would allow extraditions to mainland China. It has triggered outrage among residents who organized one of the largest demonstrations since the former British colony was handed back to China in 1997. Despite the protests, Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam, vowed to move forward with the legislation. The bill will be put up for debate as planned on Wednesday. Isaac Stonefish joins us now. He's a CBSN contributor and senior fellow at the Asia Society. Isaac, thanks so much for being with us. These pictures out of Hong Kong are really extraordinary. You look at the sheer number of people who are out there. Explain, first of all, what this proposed extradition bill would actually do. Why is it that people in Hong Kong are so fearful that their rights are going to be impeded on if it passes?
People are very upset, as we can see by the hundreds of thousands of people taking to the street. And what the bill would do is it would allow people who have committed crimes in Beijing or other parts of China to be extradited to the mainland. And it would also allow for extraditions elsewhere, but where people are really concerned about is being extradited to the mainland. And also, probably more worryingly, it's retroactive. So if someone did something 6 months ago, 2 years ago, they could still be on a plane or on a train and heading back to the mainland if this bill passes.
Wow. So the city's chief executive, Carrie Lam, said Monday she has no plans to withdraw the legislation, which is backed by China's central government. So what is expected to happen next here?
So Wednesday, the bill is going to be up for another debate. It's certainly possible that there will be another widespread group of protests. I think roughly 100 Hong Kong businesses have said they'll shut. There's thousands of Hong Kong businesses. It's not at the mass boycott level, but I don't think people are expecting this to get better.
Are all eyes basically now on Carrie Lam? I mean, can she actually survive this? Because it would be for the first time since 1997, she would become the first chief executive to actually serve more than one term.
I wouldn't bet on it. She's still got a few years of this term to lay out. And I think she could be the hero and somehow work out a solution that pleases enough people in Hong Kong and enough people in the central government so that she stays. But it feels really unlikely.
So for people who are following this, I mean, the timing of this legislation is significant. It involves a murder case, and it's a man from Hong Kong being accused of killing his girlfriend in Taiwan. Explain why the government wants to actually pass this legislation soon.
So they're saying that they want to do this soon for this specific case. However, a lot of people in the Hong Kong protest movement think that they're taking advantage of this tragic case so that they can please Beijing and do this while they have momentum. So it feels like they're using a different explanation than what the actuality is.
So it is not the first time that we have seen a number of people take to the streets in protests like this. Do these protests actually make an impact over time?
So in 2003, there were roughly 500,000 people who took the streets to push against a law that would criminalize certain ways that people would talk about negative issues in Hong Kong, and that worked. That was a successful protest, but we have to remember that China then, 16 years ago, the economy, I think, was roughly a quarter of the size it is now, much less influential globally. And this time, it feels much less likely that Beijing will back down.
Yeah, and what does the possibility of passing these changes tell you about Beijing's influence on Hong Kong?
I think what people in Hong Kong are saying is that it has been growing year after year, month after month, and there's increased worries that Hong Kong is going to be just another Chinese city as opposed to this special international beachhead, this very fresh and important place. And I think there's a lot of actual concerns that it's rapidly losing that influence.
Yeah, a lot of people in the region, a lot of people in the West certainly watching this very closely. Isaac Stonefish, Isaac, thank you.
Thank you.